What's up YouTube, Dar here from Zephyr Wargames, and today I am super excited to be able to bring you a updated TellarKnight profile following the brand new support from Cyberstorm Access. It's so good to see the Constellas and Tellars finally coming together, and I'll also show you a one card combo at the end of the video as well, so you can get something to sink your teeth into and understand the basics of a deck like this. So with all of that out of the way, please smash that like button, hit that notification bell and subscribe so you don't miss out on any more upcoming content. Getting the video above 50 likes in the first 24 hours will unlock additional TellarKnight content, duels, combo videos, and of course, test hands. So with all of that out of the way, let's dive headfirst into this very exciting profile. So we start off with Triple Deneb. This is the OG. This is the card that got me back into Yu-Gi-Oh! I opened up a random pack of Duelist Alliance one day, way back when, pulled a Deneb and was like, right, okay, I'm hooked, let's go. We've then got three of the brand new Lyran. So this is basically the card that can protect most of your Tellers. And what I mean by that is it allows you to chain block from stuff like Ashes. And then it also lets you search out your TellarKnight spells. So Skybridge and your Constellar TellarKnights, which is absolutely insane. On top of that as well, so if a TellarKnight or Constellar is normal summon specifically, except itself, you get to special on this card from the hand. If it is special summoned, you get to add a TellarKnight spell from the deck to your hand. You can only use each effect once per turn, which is really, really nice. We've then got two OG Altair and one of the brand new Altairan. So this is the brand new card that if this card is special summoned, you get to target cards on the field up to the number of light and dark XYZs you control, destroy them. If a TellarKnight or Constellar monster or monsters is special to your field except itself, you get to special on this card from the graveyard. You can't declare attacks for the rest of the turn except with XYZs, but it doesn't really matter because it's just there as an extender to get you into your XYZs. Then of course we've got the one Vega, followed by two Sheraton and the one Caduceus, and of course the one Una Kalai. So obviously these are the bridges and everything that connects everything together. And then for another brand new card that came out in Cyberstorm Access, the best level 4 extender in the entire game. Now I know a lot of you straight away when I said that are going to go, what are you talking about? Well, when you break it down to the base minimums of what a card needs in order to be summoned, this is the only one in the entire game that has no restrictions. Now what I mean by that is, when you look at Photon Thrasher, it needs you to control no monsters. When you look at Pudincessor, it means you need to have no monsters in the graveyard. So there's so many cards around there that can't just summon themselves for free no matter what the board state is, whereas Sakitama is one of the first cards that can actually do that, which is really, really nice because it now allows to provide you additional protection should you get hand trapped on your combos to continue to play. In order to make this as consistent as possible, I am playing two Aritama, and the reason I'm playing Aritama as well is I am also playing a very small Chaos Engine in order to act as additional extenders should I need them. If I get stopped in every single way of my combo, I still have fallback plans and I still have everything else to get me to my rank 4 of the Caduceus, which is just absolutely mental for the deck. On top of that, so Aritama is another one card combo because you get to normal summon this. On summon it will allow you to search out a Sakitama, and then Sakitama can summon itself down, and straight away you get into a generic Caduceus ready to rock and to roll. We've then got the one Renard. This comes off the Izol play. And then for the small Chaos Engine, I've got one White Wyvern, one Black Collapse, and one Valkyrie, alongside 3 Chaos Space. And that's why the Aritama is so important, is because when you're activating Chaos Space, as you'll see, obviously Tellers are all lights, so the only one you're really going to be able to search is the Collapse Serpent. But that's where Aritama comes into play, because should you open up a spare Aritama or you don't want to use Aritama, you want to use the Sheraton, then you have the ability to discard the Aritama and actually get into a Valkyrie or a Wyvern Buster. Now keep in mind, we are not playing the Dragon in the extra deck, so you're not going to be able to link these off to get into the other one. The idea behind this, or the only reason you would do that, is because you'll get a guaranteed draw off the back of the Chaos Space, but you'll be able to do that if you banish one of your extra deck monsters. You can then use Chaos Space to put it back into the extra deck and draw a card. So the idea on these is just having as many or a balanced level of level 4 monsters that are technically Chaos extenders, and that's what you want to go for. And it's one of them ones where if you open up Chaos Space plus something like a Deneb or a Sheraton or even the Aritama and it gets stopped, as long as you can activate the Chaos Space and discard that light or dark, you're then able to continue to make your plays. And once you get to Caduceus, it pretty much just steamrolls from that point on. And then the final card I play that is a monster is Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. I decided to go with 3 hand traps in Ash Blossom and then 3 kind of board interrupters in the form of Book of Eclipse. Now the way I saw it is, if I wanted to, I could start making this deck go a bit more go second with Lightning Storms, Kaijus and everything else, but I felt that a nice little balance, whether I go first or second, would have been Book of Eclipse. I can put in other hand traps if you want to, and I just feel that with so many hand traps running around in a super heavy samurai deck right now, that they can play pretty much everything. Ghost Spells, Veilers, Ash Blossoms, Mourners, you name it. So it's quite nice that Book of Eclipse can help you dodge Imperms and Veilers. On top of that as well, should they really, really slow your entire board down, you still have a way of coming back at it with Book of Eclipse, but it is entirely up to you. You can take these out if you want to. These are just kind of your flex spots, so I feel like Ash is pretty staple, but your Chaos Engine of 6 cards and your free Book of Eclipse can become those additional 9 hand traps if you want them to be, or 9 board breakers, depending on how you want to play. We've then played 2 Sky Bridges, out is now very easily searchable, and then a spicy addition is the Overlay Network. Now the biggest issue with this one is when you activate it, it locks you into XYZs if you decide to, well, basically it has 2 effects. So you get to activate one of the following effects. Target a face-up monster you control, special summon a monster with the same level from your hand or graveyard in defense, negate its effects, and you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck this turn you activate this effect, except XYZs. You can also target an XYZ monster you control and add 1 card attached to it to the hand. Now that doesn't lock you into XYZs, and the reason this is so good is it's a continuous spell that you can constantly use every single turn, meaning you're going to be able to churn out rank 4s very easily, so it does become a later grind game card that can help you extend. On top of that as well, during your first turn you should really go through your link combo, so the lock into XYZs is not really a big issue. We've then got the 1 searchable Twinkle, the 1 Constellar TellarKnight. So this card's mental. So on activation, you get to special summon a TellarKnight or Constellar from the hand or graveyard. You can also target a Tellar or Constellar XYZ you control and special summon from your extra deck a TellarKnight or Constellar that is a different rank from that monster you currently control. It's treated as an XYZ summon. You can only activate 1 Constellar Tellar per turn, and you can only use the effect of being able to rank up or rank down once per turn as well. And the last 2 cards we've got is Reinforcement the Army and Living Fossil. So obviously Living Fossil is the equipped card you're going to send off of the Isolde, and that's going to basically act as a Monster Reborn for any of your other TellarKnight monsters. So that's it for the main deck. Moving on to the extra deck, we are playing 2 of the brand new Tellar Constellar Caduceus. This card is absolutely amazing. I really want this kit an ulti so it can match the rest, and I love the artwork on this card. So if it is XYZ summons, you get to target a Tellar and or Constellar card in the graveyard and add them to the hand. So you get to add back 2 of your cards. Very nice recycling. You can banish a Tellar or Constellar monster from your hand or deck and detach 1 material from this card. This effect becomes that banished monster's effect that activates when it is normal summoned. Now keep in mind, all of the TellarKnight cards, or most of the TellarKnight cards, say when they are summoned. So it will trigger that same effect. It's basically what you've got to see with, if I normal summon the Lyran that I've banished, what would its effect be? You still get that with the Caduceus. It just also allows you to deal with a Sheraton as well. Then for the other TellarKnights, of course, we do get to utilize the brand new return of Patelamaias alongside double Deltaros, because trust me, you are going to abuse the heck out of this card in this particular version. And then we've got the 1 Trevere, which is completely up to you whether you want to play it or not. And then we do have the 1 Constellar. If that wasn't enough, you do also get to play Pallades and M7, followed by a Nova and an Infinity, and then penultimately a Gargagar Magician, because that will allow you to loop your Deltaros a couple more times. And then it's an XYZ deck, so Zeus is Mac Daddy, and the final 2 cards is Isolde and Appaloosa. Now the extra deck is quite tight, so here's just a couple of other suggestions or options that I couldn't really fit in. So you've got Cowboy for Time, you've got a Patelamaias, a Degusto Emerald, and then a second Patelamaias, second Trevere, and a second Patelamaias as well. So you've got options should you want to. It's a rank 4 toolbox deck. It's absolutely beautiful. It's absolutely amazing, and I really do enjoy the deck. So that's it for the profile. I'm now going to show you the 1 card combo to get you started with this amazing deck. The 1 card combo consists of Sheraton. It can also consist of an Aritama. And if you want to protect these, if it doesn't matter if they get Impermed, Ashed or Veiled, you can also hard open the Caduceus, a Lyran or a Sakitama. So you've got consistency there. So let's start off with the combo of Sheraton. And it's very simple. You're going to normal summon this, resolve its effect by adding a Caduceus. You're going to special summon the Caduceus because you control a Constellar, and on the summon, Caduceus will allow you to search out a Twinkle. You're going to activate the Twinkle to turn Sheraton into a level 4, and then you're going to overlay both of these and go into the Teller Constellar Caduceus. This will then trigger to add the Twinkle back to the hand, and then you can use its effect to detach a material, banish a Teller from the deck, and its effect will become the effect that Teller has on summon. So, in this example, because we've banished the Lyran, it will then trigger to allow you to add a Constellar TellarKnight, or specifically TellarKnight spell, and you're going to go for the Constellar TellarKnights. On activation, this is going to allow you to bring back a Constellar or a Teller from the graveyard, which gives you direct access to the Caduceus. Because this is also a Constellar, you can rank on top and go into a Pallades, a M7, and then you can use Constellar TellarKnight to provide a different rank, as long as it's not a rank 6, so Deltros is a 4, you're happy days. You're then going to use Deltros' effect to detach material and pop itself. In doing so, Deltros' effect will trigger, allowing you to special a Teller from the deck, and we're going to be going for Altair. On the summon, Altair will use his effect to bring back the Deltros, because Deltros isn't once per turn. Who'd have thought it? We're then going to link the Deltros and the Altair together, and this is going to allow you to get into Isolde. On the summon of this, you're going to be able to have the effect of Deltros and the effect of the Isolde. Isolde is going to activate to search you out a card for a follow-up at the next turn, and that's going to be your Altair. Deltros will trigger, and on this one, we're going to be summoning out the Unokalai from the deck, because Unokalai on summon will then have an effect to send the brand new Altairan from the deck to the graveyard. Then, depending on how many times you want to loop the Deneb is entirely up to you. So we're going to overlay these. Don't worry, we will use Isolde's effect in a second. And we're going to go into Gargagar Magician. You can now use Isolde's effect, use it before or after, doesn't make much of a difference. And we want to send the equipped from the deck, which will be Living Fossil, in order to summon out the Renard. Renard's effect will trigger to allow you to add the Living Fossil back to your hand, meaning that you do have a Monster Reborn follow-up should you get stopped or the board get broken. You can then detach a material off of the back of this. Make sure you detach the Caduceus if you want to go for the Pallades play. That I'll show you at the end of this turn as well. And you're going to bring back your Deltaros. It's now at this point that you can link the Deltaros, the Renard, and of course the Isolde, and go into a free negate Appaloosa. At this point, Deltros' effect will trigger again, and we want to summon out a Deneb from the deck, because in doing so, we do have a follow-up for the next turn. Deneb can search you out a Vega, and that's going to give you a very nice play with Vega into Altair as well. There we go. Now, if that wasn't enough, because we special summon Deneb, we also get the ability to bring back the Altairan from the graveyard. So you've got a very nice rank 4 play there. Now, it's entirely up to you. You can rank for these very easily, or with the Living Fossil, we're going to bring back another Constellar from the graveyard, which in this case will be the Caduceus. And the reason you do that is you can hard make the Pallades for a follow-up the next turn. So you're going to activate the Twinkle, you're going to turn the TellarKnight Altairan, because it's also treated as a Constellar, to a level 5. Then you also have the ability of Twinkle in the graveyard, that you can banish a Constellar monster from the graveyard to add this card to the hand. And would you know, we've got a Sheraton in the graveyard we can banish to add it back to the hand. You're then going to activate this again, making the Caduceus a level 5 as well. So we now have 2 level 5s that can overlay into a very nice Pallades. Pallades' effect can detach and return the Constellar for another follow-up the next turn. So what you've done here is you've got a free negate Appaloosa. If you want to, you can link these two off. If you also wanted to as well, instead of going for a hard summon of the Pallades, you can go into a Patellamaias. In doing so, that will then give you the ability, in this scenario, to overlay all 3 of these, rather than ranking these up into 5s. I'm going to just reset this a little bit. You can go all of these into a Patellamaias. The Patellamaias can then use this effect to detach the materials, to turn itself into a Nova, and then you can rank on top of that into an Infinity. So rather than a Pallades, you've got the ability of a Infinity plus a free negate Appaloosa, and you still have Vega and Twinkle for a follow-up the next turn. So it depends on which route you want to take, but it's just a very nice, heavy combo-orientated 1-card combo. So that's pretty much it for the profile. I hope it's given you a couple of ideas on your own build. Like I said, I've tried to kind of change this up. I've tried to be different from everything else that is out there online. I really do enjoy Tellers. And I'll constantly keep changing this. What I love about this deck is that it can now stand its own. You don't need to put additional engines in, which is why you see decks with like 10 or so hand traps. But it's also quite nice as well to kind of shake it up a little bit, to add consistency, to add flexibility to it as well, and really get to utilize all of the new cards. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you do have any questions, by all means, please put them in the comments down below. I will be more than happy to answer them for you. And on top of that, if you want to see more TellarKnight content, whether it be duels, whether it be test hands, or even a designated combo video, then make sure you smash that like button. Getting the video above 50 likes in the first 24 hours will unlock that for you. But for now, as absolutely always, stay safe, and of course, happy dueling.